Oh man, it's Whiskey Wednesday. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be here in front of your screens or on your screens and in front of you tonight. I am Clint, and I just got back from the Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit out in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is, of course, GOA's first annual event, and I am proud to say it's happening again. Same place, early August next year. All right. Cheers to all of you at home. Like I said, this is my first Whiskey Wednesday live stream. So hopefully you guys enjoy the Wednesday stream. And I'm enjoying, I noticed one of the comments said, what's everybody's drink of choice tonight? Mine might be in a 2A bourbon glass. All right. But I saw something new and I wanted to give it a shot. It's Lafroig Oak Select Super Mellow Scotch. If you're looking to get into Scotch for the first time, I would recommend that one. It's at a great price point and it's very mellow. It's not super heavy peaty and everything else, but it still has that smoky peaty backfill, I guess you could call it. And it's good. It's good. I like it a lot. So cheers to all of you tuning in. Thank you guys. Now, for tonight's topic, we're going to have some fun discussion because I'm back from goals, as I've already mentioned, and I'm very excited, motivated to do more for the Second Amendment. Obviously, I gave an opening speech. I'm not going to play it or anything like that because it would take too long to try to find it. But I gave an opening speech and an opening prayer for the first day of goals up on the main stage. And, while I was writing that speech, I was thinking to myself, I use my voice obviously a lot. I talk a lot. Believe me, some of my closest friends will remind me quite often. But I think that's why some of you tune in, right? It's never boring. All right. But I use my voice and exercise my First Amendment in defense of all the others, especially the Second. And the reason I use my First Amendment to protect the Second Amendment so loud and vocally is quite frankly because without the Second, we wouldn't have the rest. And to some, that might seem a little extreme. Really, you think you just lose one and the rest fall to the wayside and just go away? I do believe that. And we can see that happening all around the world. We've got in the UK, people being arrested for social media posts. And nothing like you would think that's like, it's just opposition, opposing views, saying we shouldn't allow this mass migration, saying, this, that, or the other. And now all of a sudden it's hate speech. And now all of a sudden you're a threat to society. Never mind all the stabbings. Right. So, yeah, I quite frankly believe the Second is the most important. Obviously, the right to, free religion, freedom of speech. Yes, obviously, it's up there. There's plenty of others as well that are super important. But like I've already mentioned, the Second Amendment being at the top of mine, because without it, it is the defense. It is ultimately what keeps the rest and us safe. It just comes down to when are we choosing to use the Second Amendment, right? So with that, how can we defend it? How can we defend the Second Amendment without actually having to use the Second Amendment? It's a strategy we got to play because something I think that's kind of slept on is the fact that a lot of people have told me from both sides, both sides. I have heard this about ready to resort to violence, just ready for making the movie Civil War reality. And I think what a lot of people don't understand is go 1 month without, I don't know, the simple things in life. Infrastructure, electricity. How about a hot shower? How about when somebody comes to pick up your trash? People create a lot of waste. And if it goes unchecked, undelivered to your local waste plant or whatever, you're probably going to be living in it. Now, granted, there's ways to be a little bit more clean, naturally, of course, but I'm just saying, for most of us, especially in these populated cities and all, it's going to be pretty rough. So I'd be careful to say that you're really really eager to turn to violence. And another thing I think people need to understand is we're too comfortable. We're too complacent. You know, something like bread and circuses keep us fed, keep us entertained, even if it costs us a little bit. Why do I want to give this up? All of this is something we can talk about tonight. And like I said, a lot of my videos, all of my live streams, what I wish to do is inspire thought, right? And it's for me as well, because a lot of you come in the live chat and you offer some wonderful thoughts and opinions that maybe I haven't even taken into consideration. And I'm, in this world a lot and on social media, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And so I just want to inspire thought, start that discussion with all of you tonight, and I appreciate every last one of you tuning in. By the way, on YouTube, you can now become a member. And what does becoming a member actually mean? Well, if you sign up to be a member on YouTube, it's kind of like whenever you guys send the super chats and things like that. They show up nice and bright and I get notified of it and all that. And that's really exciting and cool. And I appreciate that. But with this, you don't have to do that. If you become a member, every time you go in and send a chat, it's pretty much an exclusive live chat. You're available to that while also still being part of the regular chat, which is really cool. Additionally, the different levels that I have, I've only got one right now. It'll give you that, again, members only live chat. We will also be giving you guys the early access to videos, about 24 hours. You'll be the first to view them or so. And also members only content, such as shorts and things along those lines. And of course, connecting on social media. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you guys, let me know. In the meantime, super chats are definitely welcome and I greatly appreciate them, especially since they're going into the Nods Fund. All right. So with that, what are some other little notes here? Oh, big one. Talking about defense of the Second Amendment, utilizing your voice, utilizing the First Amendment. My entire point of bringing all that up was this Saturday, August 24th, at Boston Commons, starting at 10 a.m. in Boston, Massachusetts. Yours truly, along with, from what looks like might be dozens others, will be speaking against and opposing H.4 885, which is some of the worst gun control in the country. And it's happening right next door to me from New Hampshire in Massachusetts. For those of you that don't know, New Hampshire has excellent gun laws. They could always be better, but they're pretty awesome, especially for New England. Actually, they're just awesome in general. But Massachusetts, again, my neighbor, about 10 minutes away, they're incorporating some pretty tyrannical shit. And I am definitely going to be speaking against it. So if you're in the area, in the Northeast, I would definitely say get out there and be present. Because one of the ways you can defend your rights is to peacefully speak out against, well, oppressors and those that look to tread. All right. We've already got a super chat coming in here from Tanner. What's up, man? Goals was great and really enjoyed the veterans panel discussion. Appreciate that, Tanner. For all of you that may not know, it might be your first time tuning in, whatever it might be. Tanner has been on the channel, well, in the live streams, commenting, has been a fan of both Classic and has been on my channel and has just been an absolute great supporter. And I finally got to meet him and his awesome wife this past weekend in Knoxville. And it was truly a pleasure just getting to know you guys and hanging out for a little bit when I wasn't running around like a madman. Unfortunately, Keith Decker was there as well. Keith, I see you here. Yep. Yeah, he's in here. Unfortunately, I did not get to see Keith. However, Gerald, who was up at the registration booth, Keith did tell me that you said hi, and I greatly appreciate that as well. So awesome that I ran into quite a few of you guys, and thank you for being here. Okay, now I've already talked about utilizing your voice to support and defend the Second Amendment, right? Of course, protesting things like H.4 885, which is absolutely terrible. And in my mind, yes, absolutely tyrannical. And we can go over kind of the context of all that, but it's a lot. It's 116 pages of trampling on me. And as Mark Robinson said, we are the first taxed and last considered. And I am not a fan, even though I'm not a resident in Massachusetts, a fan of that type of tyranny anywhere. All right. So let's go ahead and hop into it really quick before we start getting in more into this discussion, because I already see lots of chats coming in, especially from James over here is excited. Let's go. We've got Bill, Simplify to you as well. By the way, if you guys haven't watched the live stream, that veterans panel that I moderated and had some awesome guests on was incredible. We got asked some really good questions from the audience. I want to incorporate next year at Goals, getting the live stream involved in the panels as well. So if you were watching at home and you wanted to contribute a question or anything like that to a panel, I want to have a moderator that says, hey, so-and-so, this handle from whatever asks this question to this panel or this individual. I think that would be really cool. But anyway, we will be, when I say we, GOA will be dropping on social and on YouTube and everything, pretty much clips of everybody's speeches and the different panels. And quite frankly, as objectively as possible here, even though I moderated it, I think it was definitely one of the best ones. We got into some real nitty gritty shit, and it was awesome. It was excellent. Right. Let's see, Brandy, it's good to see you as well. Nick, cheers also. Keith, coming back in here. Cheers, everybody. What's going on? JC, Cowboy Clint, what's up, dude? Good to see you as well. We've got Tom, who's welcoming me back. Good to see you also. Jessica Simp in the house again, lock and load time. This time we can all see my candid build on the Blast Your Blasters part. I might hold the Blast Your Blasters tonight, all right? Because we kind of want to get into this a little bit, but we also I might pull up the email and just take a look. All right. Let's see here. Crunchy Taco. Welcome back, Clint. Goals was great. And I'll be honest with you guys. I am proud of what GOA and so many people did there. For a first-year event, Gun Owners of America put on what I think is probably one of the most influential and educational events in our industry. There's plenty of others that will host such conventions, but they won't do as much when it comes to actually fighting for your Second Amendment right. Like, look, I'm speaking as an individual here, okay? Like NSSF, okay? SHOT Show brings in a crap load of money, a bunch of money, but the NSSF is where when it comes to defending our rights. And granted, look, I interact with these guys on Instagram and everything else, and I think some of the people are really cool, but as an organization, what are you doing to defend the Second Amendment other than profit off of it? And that's a part of what my speech was when I introed gun culture in America and the 2A Alliance panel, because we had a lot of people considered influencers at Goals that were part of panels and different discussions and gave speeches. And the 2A Action Alliance is ultimately a group of influencers, myself included, that are willing to put their name to paper and submit ultimately like a letter that was submitted to the House leadership against the pistol brace rulings and whatnot. So I know some people find offense in the term influencer. Okay. But I kind of wear it as with a badge of honor. And I said that in the podcast with Chris Peranto and his podcast with Battle Line Tactical, which ultimately, and I think I said it even in this podcast with Adam, Mike, and the guys, Whiskey and Windage, a great group of dudes, got to meet them in person at Goals as well, that you might consider me an influencer, and that's fine. As long as you're considering me an influencer because I'm utilizing my platform and speaking to my audience and influencing them to protect, restore, and fight for the Second Amendment. And if that's what I'm influencing people to do, I'm influencing them to exercise their Second Amendment, build an AR-15 or an AR-10 or build whatever the hell you want to build because that's your right as an American, then I'm proud to be an influencer. So with that, how are you guys using whatever means available to you to defend the Second Amendment? I want to know because it might be something I've overlooked personally. Granted, I'm doing what I know how to do best, and that's sit here in front of a camera and talk to you guys and spread the word about different things that are coming in and ultimately oppressing us. And I'm going to go speak at these different events and different rallies. I'm going to be trying to go to college campuses and speak there in support of the Second Amendment. Why? Because, well, Our youth, as I made a point to mention in the veterans panel, our youth are under attack, starting as children, making it away all the way through college, and even afterwards. What we're seeing are very extreme, dare I say, points of view on campuses to young, impressionable minds, right? And all I want people to do is to think for themselves. But when it comes to treading on rights or something like that, I won't stand for that. You know, be open-minded. Say what you want to say. Be opinionated even. But the moment you try to force something else onto me, I'm going to have issues with that. However, if it is an amendment protected by the Constitution, especially one that's considered, well, God-given, certain truths, right? We hold these truths to be self-evident, So it's all in the Declaration of Independence, which I meant to actually bring my book down here, because there is a segment I wanted, and I have pocket constitutions and Declaration of Independences everywhere except on my desk. See this? This is part of what would be going out to anybody that signs up on my Patreon once I get that going. It is the Constitution of the United States. All right. And of course, the Declaration of Independence right here in this little paperback. Awesome little thing. But really what I wanted to get to as I pull it up here, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. And that's pretty much how I want to start my speech this weekend. Because when you listen to those words, boy howdy, gives me chills every single time. Oh, rant over. Let's get to the comments here. How are you guys fighting to defend your Second Amendment? All right. Okay, here we go. FN 510. Quint, what's up? Core's Original Banquet. I see you, man. That guy right there, he knows what's up. And yes, it is considered a mellow Lafroig, right? It's a little bit cheaper. I think it's their Oak Select. Yeah, it's just a little bit more subtle. It's pretty awesome, actually. Let's see here. 18-year Glenlivet this evening for everybody drinking along. What's going on? Hey, Leatherneck from Garnett. What's up, dude? Or Garnet West. Good to see you. Country Bear Assassin, Whiskey Wednesday, Maker's Mark on Ice. Very cool. The second does have the teeth. That's absolutely right. From Smoka FNJ. Let's see here. Yes, Keith, the second protects the rest. Second protects the first. 2A boys, good to see you guys. Got to meet these guys also this past weekend, and y'all are a lot of fun, man. Great group of kids, and dad and mom are awesome too. It was good to meet you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, that is probably one of the biggest things you can do, is to get out and vote. And that was a lot of the message at Goals as well, because you guys realize there's a lot of gun owners that are unregistered, that just aren't voting. And Jared, Guns and Gadgets there, he had a very home-hitting speech. He went through the numbers of every single state that had unregistered gun owners, and he gave them down to the single digit. How many that was. And it was a lot, guys. It was a lot. And just, it just blows my mind, right? So yeah, getting out there and voting is that. let's go ahead and talk about this. General Grant. I can't help but think that this is General Lee's other YouTube page. I just, but vote Trump or get Harris. I guess that's about that. And here we are. I was asked on Instagram, how can I follow a president that says something along the lines of the Presidential Medal of Freedom is better than the Medal of Honor? I saw that, and believe me, I wasn't exactly happy to hear that either. But then I was listening to it in the context of which Trump was saying it, and you kind of have to take it for what it's worth, right? And I could understand he was kind of saying, yeah, most of the guys that get the Medal of Honor get blown up, shot, dead. It's the Medal of Honor isn't the best day for somebody's life that they're getting that. As where the Presidential Medal of Freedom, your body is most likely intact. You are still alive. You probably haven't lost any friends, or maybe you have. It is still a high honor. It's like, I kind of understand where he's coming from, but dude, you could have definitely said it a lot better. That aside, if you're not going to vote for the guy because of that thing, take this from a veteran. Look, I'm sorry if it offends you. It is what it is. That's stupid. Okay. If that's the only thing that you're kind of like, he said this, what a POS. I'm not going to vote for that guy because he said that. Okay. But look what he's done. Right. So, yeah, he still has my vote, honestly. And that's that. Let's see here. Yes, I am getting the Twitter, the X, Twitter, whatever. I am getting these because I saw that Phantom is wanting to know if I can see the chat here. And yes, I can. Thank you so much. We've got John saying, great to meet you at Goals. Thanks for what you do to continue to educate and inspire. Thank you, John. I appreciate that greatly. Over to the super chat. Michael Byram, Golds was amazing. It was so awesome to get to talk to you for a little. Was not expecting that at all with how busy you were. Look, man, if I get a couple of minutes to get off that stage and just take a deep breath of fresh air and run into you guys in the meantime, I think I probably told just about every last one of you, one of the reasons I truly love doing the live streams is because I get to interact and talk with you guys. And if I get to do that in person, even better. Granted, I didn't get to go out at all at night. So I typically went back to my room. I was typing up things that how I was going to be introducing people and stuff like that, which I put a lot of thought into it. And I noticed I did better when I didn't have the piece of paper in front of me. Isn't that funny how that happens? But with that, no, it was definitely very busy. And I'm looking forward to next year, with a little bit better planning. And for those of you that were in attendance, we had our first after action meeting with GOA today. And for those of you that were in attendance or watched, comment or DM me or send an email to magdumpmafia@gmail.com to offer any type of feedback. I would love to hear from you guys, and I'd pass that up the chain of command at GOA. All right. But thank you, Michael. It was a pleasure meeting you as well. My buddy Snipes in the house. Good to see you, dude. Thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate that. 2A boys. Thanks for hanging us for a few minutes. The whole event was incredible. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming out. And of course, it was awesome to hang with you guys as well. John Latz, at least we don't love in the UK. I don't know. Some of us might have love in the UK, but for me, no, I don't. And I don't live in the UK either. I know what you meant, John. But yeah, we don't live in the UK. Some of us might. However, there are quite a few. I have noticed international viewers, which is super cool. We've gotten a few from Brazil and Puerto Rico. And so it's always really neat to have you guys in. So it's funny you say this about the ads, because I actually went and minimalized them, said, make it the most conservative thing ever. And I guess some of you guys are still getting hit with it. It did say that not everybody would, so I'm sorry. All right. Let's see here. Dude, Knowledge Garage, Nods Fund, I'll text you. You texting me nods? Country Bear Assassin, I will not be complacent. Gardening, hunting, and teaching the next generation, always packing heat. And I think that's probably one of the most important ways to protect the Second Amendment is to actually use it. And this is something I want to tell you guys right now. If you haven't gotten out and gone to events like what's happening this Saturday, again, the 2A Boston rally, go. Because one of the things I said in probably a few different panels now is one of the best ways we can influence others to actually start fighting for our rights is to get more involved in the community. Start actually getting a little bit of face time with your neighbors, right? I think that goes a really long way. And then all of a sudden you start kind of filling everybody out, figuring out exactly who's on the same page as you or not, or somebody you might need to be wary of. There's different ways of just getting involved in the community and finding out, can we be on the same team? Might not start off on the same team, but all of a sudden you guys start talking and coming together and you're like, wow, we're both seeing kind of different ideas, different points of view. And all of a sudden we're buds. And yeah, I'll have your back if you have mine type of stuff. Again, it's all time consuming. And I understand that time is very valuable for a lot of us. But hey, do what you got to do. So yeah, getting involved with the community and going out to different training events is a very good way to meet more like-minded people as well and to help, again, spread that message. I saw so many people that I had no idea GOA even existed. They came because they thought it was like another gun show and like, oh, this is a big gun show. It's in the Knoxville Convention Center. And they're like, GOA? Yeah, sure. What's that? Kind of blew my mind too, but here we are. There are plenty of people saying it online, like, oh, I used to support the NRA. Well, these guys are doing this. Oh, man, that's awesome. I'll do that. Great. I'm glad Goals is doing its job in spreading the message. All right. So again, thanks to boys for being there. Appreciate that. The event did go very well. Keith said you popped in. You caught the last few questions. Well, Still Oliver, Battle Buddy 3 gun. He's I don't even want to call him a disabled competitive shooter, but he competes in a wheelchair. So that should tell you he's got like a whole rig and everything. It's freaking cool. But he had such an awesome question about red flag laws and if whether or not if a red flag law saved one veteran's life, would it be worth it in the end? And you can see all of our responses to that. But quite frankly, red flag laws aren't there. And Tony Simon, I think, probably had the best response. Red flag laws aren't there to protect you. They're there to disarm you. And that's that, right? And quite frankly, if somebody gets saved by a red flag law, I think that's a byproduct of that. I actually don't think that's the intent, quite frankly. Because I think red flag laws are ultimately going to cause more people to unalive themselves because they're, well, for one, too afraid to get help. They're going to be driven by, I mean, it's super unconstitutional, but they're going to be driven to desperate measures because somebody called and said so-and-so made a threat against me and now I want all their guns taken away type of stuff. And these extreme protective orders, whatever, they've killed more people than helped people. And I think we've seen that actually in action. So that's how I feel about that. Let's see here. Let me get back. We had another super chat come on through. Appreciate it. Sticks and Morty, wrap or heat resistant pouch for spicy suppressor, handling, storage, and range trips. Again, every time I move something off my desk, it gets talked about. I have a Liberty's Defense suppressor cover. They're expensive, but my goodness, do they work, and do they work really, really well. I am going to be testing different ones out also. I've had Coltac, which has worked fine. I do believe I'll be trying the burn-proof gear ones here soon, so I'll let you guys know about those also. But the Liberty's Defense are the ones I've had like the best luck with, and that thing kicks. Sticks and Morty, appreciate it. All right, let me get caught up here with the chat. Here we go. William, too many people vote personality over policy. With that sentence right there, that statement right there can kind of pretty much tell you we're screwed as a society. Because I don't know if it's a majority of people or not, but I do know a lot of people definitely vote for personality or how their name sounds. I like the way that guy or gal's name sounds, so they're going to be one I get voted for. I will gladly take some garbage for the trade-off of security and safety for our country. Okay. I like it. Keith, the threat of a red flag may push a veteran over the edge. Yeah. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Keith, Brandon asked the question, would you give your life for your second right? Everyone raised their hand. Yeah. Do you believe that? Everyone might raise their hand and say, yes, I would definitely give my life for it. All right. Let's ask some really hard questions. Would you give your wife's life? Would you give your kid's life? At what point is it too much? And I have a hard time answering that question personally. I would fight and to make it so they wouldn't have to make any sacrifice. But if you're looking at the absolute drastic situation of a civil war, it's not just you, it's everybody. Like I said, the entire infrastructure in itself kaput. You know, I've mentioned it plenty of times on this stream, on the channel, elsewhere too. The grocery stores and McDonald's, it's not going to be there when society falls. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be there during a natural disaster. You know? So I'm here to ask those hard questions, even though I might not be able to answer them myself. I just, like I said, I want to inspire thought and get that out there, right? Oh, man. Oh, yeah, this is really good, too. Vinny Pat's about the rally. Boston Common is a safe space. No guns at the rally. Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah, well, see about that. It is what it is, right? Let's see here. And this is a great thing to consider, too, from Rent Collector. Never forget what your government will do to you. And if you think to yourself, oh, that won't happen, I'm here to tell you, yes. Yes, it will. Absolutely, it will. You can see it happening all over the world right now. Okay. By the way, I looked down at my screen, and have you guys noticed too? I'm really proud of this because I don't know why I never did this before, especially having access to DSA FALs. I got a bayonet for my SA-58 carbine. It's freaking cool. Am I right? All right, cool. All right, so keeping on over here. Make sure you get those goats. Yes. Like I said, I've started with the chicken coop and everything. I'm also noticing that my lights are really bright, so I'm a little overexposed, I guess you could say. So my bad. I don't think you guys really care though. Let's see here. I saw somebody here, Mark Gray and Mary Beth. I think you guys asked this in almost every stream, maybe. But yes, this election, not that it really matters, honestly, you know, like, hey, who you guys vote for is who you vote for. But me, publicly, I'll say it, I'm voting for Trump. All right. And so that's that. Let's see. Coming from Twitch, Gilly Shooter, the kind of people who want to disarm you would feel absolutely zero guilt punishing your family after you're gone. Let's not expect any good outcomes if it comes to that blaze of glory. Don't let it come to that. Yeah. So that's when it gets scary, right? Huh. Man, there's so many ways it can go because it's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Those that want to disarm you would feel absolute zero guilt doing unto your family what they have done to you, right? So you want to prevent that from happening in any way possible. But once you're kind of like past that point, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we have to get to a extreme level of uncomfortability. And some of you have seen in the chat too say, well, I'm uncomfortable. If you have a roof over your head, you can still afford some of your bills. You don't have people banging at your door to haul you off to prison because you can't pay all of your taxes just yet, especially as a whole. As a whole, you know? And I was having this discussion with GOA's Director of Regional and Local and State Affairs, Chris. And he and I were talking about a lot of these bills like 4885 want to ban everything. And then Republicans might say, okay, well, hey, we won because let's say we fought that bill, but they only got 30% of what they wanted. So we beat that bill. But within that 30% are still, well, they're still taking away from you. They're still stripping you of your rights. It doesn't matter what it is. What, you can't own a gun that has a bayonet lug. What are you going to consider a bayonet lug, especially in this situation when the bayonet lug is just a muzzle device? It is the bayonet lug, right? So he called it, a death by 1,000 cuts. And I related it to my time in the Marines. I know if I'm going to be going somewhere, me and the warrant officer would get up and say, okay, we want 10 forklifts, let's say 5 5Ks, right? We want 6 Humvees, and we want 18 Porta-Johns. Well, if we got half of all of that, that's still more than what we actually need because that's what we know going into it. All right, cool. We got all the equipment we need and some. Even though we asked for all this stuff and didn't get it, it's still a win, right? So, man, oh man, oh man. Fun conversations, right? Like I said, it's all about being real. It's about asking those hard questions, okay? And in the end, Chillin54 is right. They don't care about you. They care about what you can do for them, not what they can do for you. JFK, man, right? General Grant, government sucks. And it does. It really does. It has one purpose and it has gotten so far away from that one purpose of just defense of the people. Everything else should be kind of left up to the states. Federal government, defense of the people, right? But here we are. Yeah, a little stabby boy over here, bayonet 2. Yeah, I know you do. Let's see here. A little pointy boy action. Yeah. Man, oh man, oh man. All right. I saw a couple more super chats come through here, so let me get to you guys. Hungry 40s, good to see you, dude. Any new mods to the Mark 18? No, I've pretty much kept it the way it is. PEC 15 up top. Tango down. I've got it sitting right over there. That's why I'm looking around my screen here. Tango defense grip, the EOTech optics, Surefire, got the dual pressure pad, Huxworks muzzle device for the Flow 556K, B5 system stuff, Geisley, Tango 10, it's Tango down, vertical grip, Tech 10, sling. I think that's pretty much it. Anyway, now the Mark 18, I know we all say this, no build is ever complete. I think the Mark 18's done. Granted, I might keep going back and forth between silencers, but that's, as far as the rest of the layout goes, I don't think I really want to switch anything else out. I've got the 100 Concepts lens cover now on the Surefire and the EOTech, and I've got the Villain Weapon Systems, Villain Defense, Villain Industries, Villain Weapon Systems, I think. It's like a filter that goes over the IR illuminator of your PEC 15 civilian model and makes it a whole lot better. It's really cool to have when you don't have night vision. It's useless if you don't have night vision, actually. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. With that, we've got AI Smith. Being new to this lobby, or is it Al Smith? Being new to this hobby 1 year in, I'm grateful for all the info I have learned from your videos. Look forward to your new channel. Thanks. Appreciate you on that. Thank you. By the way, this Friday, I am looking at releasing my first, I guess you can say, comparison video of some of the most popular shotguns being sold in the market right now. So big shout out to my friends over at Monadnock Firearms. They had a couple of used ones come in, the ones that I wanted for the channel. And so I'm going to be running those and then giving those back to Monadnock Firearms to put back up for sale. And I don't know. You tell me, you guys, but if it's featured in the video, does that seem like a cool selling point? Personally, I'm like, it's a used gun. You know, I'm not torture testing or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. James is saying bayonets are a final negotiation tool. Yeah. Keith is also right in saying that we keep taking a step back. We need to take a step forward. And there have been some victories. All right. Like what's happening down in Florida right now, where I think GOA is fighting the open carry ban that's down there. There's also the red flag laws that were beaten. There's also now we have a majority of the states that are now constitutional carry, right? So that's super cool if you ask me. So we do have victories, just not like, you know, banning the NFA or repealing the NFA and abolishing the ATF, right? Like that hasn't happened yet. I'm going to be optimistic in that regard. Like keep fighting. But there have been some good things that have happened. Okay. Let's see here. Steel City, I've always loved your Mark 18. Me too. Thanks. J5 just popping in to say, what's up? Good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Justin is wanting to know Riz 2 or Riz 3 when it comes to the rail. It's personal preference. Do you want M-Lock or do you want Picatinny? I love the Picatinny vibe, but it is heavier. M-Lock, you still get the great everything that the Riz 2 is. It's just M-Lock, and it's a little bit lighter. So that might be a better choice, honestly, because it's just lighter. Less material, all that stuff. But if you like Picatinny like I do, because vibes, well, go for that, you know? So there you go. Have I tried an FRT trigger before? If so, how do they work? Yes, I have. They work very, very good. And how do they work? It's ultimately utilizing the pressure that you place on the trigger to kind of expedite, slow down, semi versus force reset functionality. So if you press it kind of light, then it's your trigger forcing your trigger fingers being forced to reset. So you're kind of like feathering it, right? There's still an individual pull for each round going down range. So it's still semi-auto. It's just increasing the rate of fire through semi-auto application. The moment you apply more pressure, you can actually play with it. Once you start getting kind of good with it, you can play with the speed in which it's firing. It's really cool. But from there, if you apply a lot of pressure, you can fire it semi-auto, right? It just takes a little bit of getting used to. That's all. Okay. But yeah, they're really cool. They are fun. Would I use it in a SHTF application? If I had a dedicated gun for it, that was belt fed. Maybe. Fight Light, what's up? So yeah, I don't know, but like on my Mark 18, on my Mark 12, on my M4, something like that, probably not, quite frankly. But yeah, that's a stat. Okay. Let's see here. The Armed Fisherman has been doing great work with schooling FLA counties in open carry laws. Yep, or Florida. Yeah, so that's awesome. You gotta love that stuff. Thanks, Justin. Good to see you, man. Justin, by the way, has recently painted his AK-74, and when we do another blaster builder, I'm sure blaster builds. I'm sure blaster. I'm sure we'll see that. All right. Let's see here. Halicon Draconis 7. It's a small upsell point for them. Shows the gun is in good working order. Maybe if they're a big CM fan, but that's not really your demographic. What was this in context to? It's a small, the force reset? Shows the gun is in good working order. I forgot what we were talking about, where this is referenced. Oh, well. Let's see here. I do not have any experience with the super safety, however. All right. Let's see. Glad to see you're still on YouTube, man. Missing you on Classic Firearms. Appreciate that, Matthew. And appreciate everybody that came up to me and spoke to me at Goals this past weekend and said similar things. But yeah, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It's just the evolution in the Classic Firearms YouTube channel. Like I said before, it was me. It was Ben. Before we started doing content creation, we were using YouTube for commercial marketing and different styles of reviews. And I really always loved those surplus crates and those unboxings. But at the same time, never did I realize and how much did I take for granted all of those crates, all of those SKSs, all those Mosins, all those M39s, you know? Granted, people were saying the same things back in the 80s and 90s and earlier 2000s. It just is what it is. I was having this conversation at Monadnock Firearms with Keith over there. We were talking about what is it today that we're going to look back 15 years from now and be like, dang, I should have hopped on that. Hopefully, it's not your entire Second Amendment right. You know? Hopefully it's nothing. Hopefully everything's just in abundance and we can, and capitalism's at work and I can pick and choose what I want at any given moment. And inflation is a thing of the past and everybody's living happily and peacefully and everybody's got machine guns and suppressors at the whim and the ATF doesn't exist. One can dream. One can dream. Larry H., I prepped for 2 people for the last 15 years, bought 2 of everything. Now my wife passed, so I'm searching for ideas. Do I keep prepping or say I'm good because I have double everything? What's y'all opinion? First of all, Larry, sorry for your wife's passing. Secondly, I can't even imagine what that pain must be like, quite frankly. So I'm sorry to hear that. Secondly, I don't think you're ever really done, you know? And this is like humans are, we're a social creature, there's things you can do within your community as well. But it's great that you have 2 of everything. Now you can kind of go back through and see if there's some things that can be, well, expiration dates exist. But there's other things that you can do as well, like upgrade. If you bought 2 Glock 19s, maybe sell both of those and get a Glock 45 or sell one and get a Glock. You know what I'm saying? Just like, diversity. Diversify in your whatnot. So there you have it. Let's see. But yeah, again, sorry to hear about the passing of your wife, Larry, and God bless you, man. All right. Jessica Simp 44 is wanting to know my thoughts on the binary trigger. I think they're fun. A good way to blow some money. Are they, again, something that I would use in a defensive weapon of some sort? Don't know how I feel about that. It depends in the platform. Like the Franklin Armory binary trigger and the CZ Scorpion, that thing runs. And it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not finicky whatsoever. Like you apply pressure, it's going to go bang. You release, it's going to go bang. There's no mush. It's very solid. There's hardly any take up. Like it just goes. It's awesome. Right. So there is that. And, but like in my AP5, it wants to run a little bit heavier. Once I've gotten it broken in a little bit more, 115 grain seems to run in it a little bit better, but 124 grain, it seems to really like. 151, the Winchester Subsonics I have, that I also picked up from Monadnock, those seem to run pretty good in it too. But the most common round, 115, I was having some hiccups in. Granted, it could also be because I haven't cleaned the gun ever, literally, ever since I've had it. I've never cleaned it, so that might be a little bit on me. But, there we go. General Grant, we should pass an amendment that makes it illegal to violate the Constitution. I think it's called this, I think we, it's kind of like the Constitution should be enough to not violate the Constitution. But then even things that happened a long time ago that still, I believe, like the 16th Amendment was ratified in 1913. As I'm sitting on, the plane, I pull out my pocket Constitution, and I do this sometimes. If I'm listening to music, I get tired of playing the stupid, word search game or whatever it is that I'm playing. I'll just pull out the pocket Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and start reading it again. Because like I said, it's the only thing I've ever read that still gives me chills. It's crazy, dude. The Declaration of Independence is one of the most well-written documents, if not the best ever. I mean, it is like the epitome of fantastic breakup letters. Oh my God, I love it, But anyway, Does it say when these things are ratified? Yes, it does. Okay, so if we go to 16th Amendment, ratified February 3rd, 1913. And the Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. Really? The hell are y'all thinking in 1913? And then the Great Depression hits soon after. Bruh. You know, like, is that not writing on the wall enough for you? Taxes are theft. I'm here to tell you that 100%, all right? Appreciate it, Justin, by the way. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Hungry 40s again, thank you. Shouldn't invest in a second plate vest. Should I invest in a second plate vest with plates, and why? Yeah. So I've got plate carriers for different reasons, right? My JPC is kind of like my full loadout here without actually the side plates. Let me hide the comment so you guys can actually see what I'm pointing at. And then my name pops up. Can I hide that too really quick? Because I think you guys at this point pretty much know who I am. Can I turn that off? Great. So the Cry JPC 2.0. It's a nice little minimalist plate carrier. I like it quite a bit. I don't have the side plates for the cummerbund just yet. I did order from A&A Tactical the padded shoulder pads and the increased cummerbund. I placed that order back in like April, March timeframe. I emailed them and they said something's coming soon. And here we are. So if you wanted anything from A&A Tactical, beware, your lead time is absolutely ridiculous. It does tell you on the website that it's kind of like long. I think like 6 to 8 weeks, but I think we're a little bit past 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, you know, my watch doesn't have dates on it or anything, but I think we're past that. So with that, when it comes to multiple plate carriers, my mind is, well, have a 308 rig, have a recce rig, you know, have close quarters, have a dual, you know, have one that travels. Look, man, this is America. Have as many as you want for whatever you want it to do. Having a modular plate carrier is great too, but I'm lazy when it comes to this stuff. And I just want a plate carrier for this, that, and the other. And I pick up the one I want in that moment and I go. You know, that's how I feel about it. But you know what the downside of that is? It's fucking expensive. So there is that. I'm going to put my name back on in case y'all forgot who I was. So yeah, you know, should you invest in a second plate carrier? Yeah, I don't see an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Quite frankly. And that's my take on it. If your budget doesn't allow for that, no, you know, that's quite simple, honestly. Tanner, Clint, tell Kelson the baby's hi, Alexis. Oh, Alexis. Alexis. One of the first conversations I had with Tanner's wife is she's Midwestern nice. And so they will go absolutely out of your way to tell you how sweet these people are. They saw me running around like crazy. I mean, look, guys, hopefully it didn't show on screen or in person there. It was chaos behind the scenes, trying to find speakers that forgot when their speaking time was and they're having a good time out on the show floor. That was cool. Thanks, guns out. Finding members of panels that weren't ready just yet and all these other things that were happening. It was a lot running around trying to just coordinate, herding cats type of thing, you know? And Tanner and Alexis, hey, we're just here. You know, you can just text us and let us know if you want some food or something like that. We'll bring you something. How freaking cool is that, right? So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys coming in and saying hi and meeting you guys. Unfortunately, Kelsey was not with me, so you guys didn't get to meet her and the babies, but maybe next time, all right? But thank you, Gerald, as well. Appreciate that for the congrats on success of goals. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Oh, back to the reality. I mean, it's all reality, but thank you. But back to this unfortunate reality about how many unregistered gun owners there are. Jared's count, Guns and Gadgets. This man put a lot of, I mean, he and I were talking behind the stage or behind the scenes, whatever, before he goes up to speak. And, you know, he said, look, you know, my speech probably isn't going to be that like exciting, but it's something that needs to be talked about. Approaching 10 million unregistered gun owners, which is crazy. 10 million, guys. Brandon Herrera lost his election in Texas District 23 by like 350, give or take, some odd votes. Rounding, I believe they had 40,000 people turn out for the runoff election in a district that has 700,000 registered voters. 40,000 turned out. Lost by 350 votes. If anybody tells you your vote doesn't matter, I'm not going to say use violence against them, but verbally slap the hell out of them, okay? That's how I feel about that. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's see here. 301 Hush, 301 Boys here. Hey, Clint, what ammo you run in your AXG P365 Legion? Funny enough, that's not my SIG ammo. So I actually run two different styles. I have FMJ, 124 grain plus P from SIG, and the one that I mostly carry, well, this is what I carry in it at all times, is the Federal. Actually, I saw somebody talk about it. Yeah, Federal HSTs. So there you go. But yeah, that's what I have in it right now. Granted, I'm always down to change out ammo based off of what I see or whatever, but quite honestly, I like those rounds. I've seen the type of expansion that they have, and it's pretty freaking cool. Though, I haven't seen the type of expansion 147 grain Federal HST would have out of the short barrel of the 365 AXG Legion with the comp, right? Compensated pistols give you less velocity. All right. So that would be something to kind of look into also. Either way, I'm still pretty happy with what I believe would be the desired effect if ever put in a situation where I needed to send one of those HSTs downrange. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Let's see here. Redneck Dragon, the panels. Hey, I got to meet him as well, which was really cool. The panels are great, but I feel like they needed more time for panelists and questions. And they also needed more time for them between the speaker and the panel once it concludes. Believe me, I have reported this one back as well. Yes, having a little bit longer panels I think would be great. But hey, we had some that had to end early because either the moderator may have ran out of questions or the conversation just dried up. And sometimes it is what it is, right? Not everybody can just talk. I did let a couple of the other moderators know that whenever I host these things, that if you have questions you'd like to ask, that's fine. But I try not to look at them. I don't want to know what those questions are because I want the conversation to naturally go in that direction. If not, or if the conversation starts getting stale, we're not getting asked questions, I have a feeling that we're going to be kind of mute here and we still have 10 minutes left, then I'll say, all right, so to continue the conversation, let's talk about this, right? This is a question that I came up with, question that I saw elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. How does this affect you? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, having more time, I could see that for sure. And then having a break between the next panel or the next speaker that's coming out onto the stage or presentation, whatever it might be, is good because oftentimes what I ran into when I was up on stage was the panel just concluded. I'm shaking hands, giving hugs. All right, y'all get off the stage. I'm trying to introduce the next speaker. The speaker's walking out onto the stage while people are swarming the people that just got done being in a panel to meet and greet with them. Chaos. First year problems. Excellent problems to have because we're going to learn from it. And quite frankly, I'm excited this happened anyway. So just expect next year. I'm going to say it. and I'm going to say it right now. I'm not even going to knock on wood because it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, and we're going to be even more enthusiastic and motivated to bring you an awesome convention filled to the brim with some of your favorite companies and manufacturers and people. And the range day, also going to be a lot better. Oh, man. All right. So let's see here. Lenny is saying that he hates his plate carrier. It makes him look fat, old, and ugly. Lenny, some of these things might... Dude, I'm sorry, man. You left it wide open. I know what you were trying to do. Look. If you think your plate carrier is making you look fat, old, and ugly, get a Cry, man. Get a Cry JPC 2.0, though. I'm not sponsored, in no way affiliated with Cry whatsoever. I will say this, though, actually. Burnproof gear. They were there. My buddy Frank was showing me this plate carrier that they have that is more so catered to like the first man in, your point man. There's very minimal gap. So if you're to have side plates on, right? Let me show you this. So let me hide my name again because I can't remember what the name of the plate carrier was, but I said Burnproof gear. Blue Force gear, sorry. Blue Force gear has a plate carrier where the side plates are more riding like up here. Okay. So you've got your main plate, let's say your 10 by 12, and then your side plates are more up here and not so much on the sides. And the reasoning they did that, because this again is more so for your point man, what was happening is typically when somebody would first enter the door and then cut one direction or the other really fast, they'd be taking shots right in between the two plates, your side plate and your front plate. And that's because you're either in the process of turning or something along those lines. So they wanted to minimize that gap there. And so they moved where the plates ride. And I think that looks really cool. Also, it's super flame retardant material. They were showing me all sorts of cool things. I'm like, that sounds pretty dope if you ask me. Yes, I want one and I want to feature it on the channel. And I'd love to do a comparison video because, you know, between this and others and whatnot, because that stuff's fun for one. But yeah, you know, I think that'd be kind of cool. Keith has got a good comment here. I voted in every election since I could vote. If you don't vote, you can't bitch. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that. I don't disagree with that. Ghost, hey, Clint, working on an apparatus at the fire department, so I can't stay, but just wanted to pop in and say hello. Appreciate that, Ghost. Thank you so much. Rustic Arms, what's up, dude? Just left the shop, stopping in to say what up, good people. It was cool. See, I learned something about Rustic. This is how humble this guy is, right? I learned something about him this past goals, though he wasn't able to be there in person when the Empowered 2A video played. This is the women's outreach organization or project that GOA has ultimately started, and it's called Empowered 2A. Antonia Oakfor, she's, you know, a big part of that, and so many other women are a big part of that. But when I was watching the video for Empowered 2A, I noticed Daryl Rostick was in a lot of it. You know, I'm like, what? So I started asking around, like, hey, what's, you know, Rustic Arms doing? And, you know, like, I want to know what he's contributing. And they're like, oh, he provides all the rifles for our Empowered 2A shoots and stuff like that. So how freaking cool is that? So big round of applause for Rustic Arms there, guys. So that's pretty awesome, man. And I'm happy you do that. Like I said, and never would have found out unless I actually go to one of these events myself, which I do plan on doing. And unless, of course, I asked, because that's just how humble he is. So good to see you, man. Thanks for being here and appreciate you always. And he's carrying the 320X5 Legion today. Nice. Let's see here. I saw a super chat come in. I'm going to get to that right after we get through the Monadnock Shootist here. I believe Monadnock Shootist and I are going to be riding down together. Jacob, what's up, man? Riding down together to go to this to a rally on Saturday. Justin, I know he's in the area also. So, and Monadnock Firearms. I mean, I guess, hey, if you're in the area, let's just say it's about an hour and what, 20, hour and 40, 30. It's about an hour and a half. Okay. About an hour and a half down to Boston. And I want to get there early for parking and everything else, and to get with Derek, that's CSS shooting, that's got a lot to do with this rally. Let's say if you're in the area, you want to go to the rally, you want to maybe all ride together or something, let's do that. Let's meet at Monadnock Firearms at like 7:30. 7:30 in the morning sound good to anybody that might be going? That's what I want to do. And if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to. But that's what I'm going to do. All right. I'll bring the coffee. Let's see here, and probably the donuts, because whatever. But anyway, here's my one issue. I'm firmly in the camp that 2020 was stolen. How, when their regime is in charge, can we be sure they won't do it again? It was blatant last time, and there's been no accountability. Dude, I feel you. So I laugh because I've said multiple times, get out and vote, and that's only if you trust the system. I don't trust it, but if there's a tiny chance that my vote actually might matter, might count, then I want it to. And what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose by going out to vote? A little bit of time in my day? Maybe. So what? I'm not worried about it. I get, an hour for me may not mean as much to some other people, and I'm very aware of that. An hour for somebody, that's $20, right? I'm salaried, so I don't, I'm working right now. For me though, right? I totally get that. And that's why it should be easier to vote in a sense, right? In a sense. I don't think we should be having it, as easy as doing it from home per se. I can understand absentee ballots, especially for deployed vets and hospitalized individuals and whatnot. But if you're pretty much in like good health, not traveling for work or whatnot, then show up. By you being there, it could actually be a significant meaning for somebody else. Wow, look at that line. That could deter from somebody from saying, you know what, I'm not going to do it. Or, man, they're all doing it. Maybe I should do that too. There's the bandwagon, mindset. Yeah. There's a lot to take on there. Broken cord. Maybe a box of 22 long rifle ammo for you. The $5. Thanks. Appreciate that, man. Like I said, I'm going to collect it all and I'm going to put it in a little piggy bank. It's going to say nods on it. Okay. Might take a while and I might dip into it on occasion because I see another FAL laying around or something. So that's what happened this last time. Priorities. I know. Priorities, Clint. Had just another one come in here. Brandon, good to see you again as well. Brandon Correll. May get some hate, but don't care. If you are not fit, get fit. In these crazy times, you want to be in a better position to defend yourself and family. You are absolutely right, my man. And I'm guilty of it, dude. Look, having 2 kids, traveling as often as I was, doing everything I'm currently doing. Y'all probably don't realize I'm working like 3 or 4 jobs on top of still being in the Marine Corps Reserves. So when I say I'm skating by on my physical fitness, my fiance got a Peloton, so I'm riding that thing on occasion. It's actually kind of nice. All right. Laugh if you will. I always kind of did, but that stuff's kind of fun. But with that, physical fitness is a big deal. Like, get fit or die. Let's just be real. Okay. Let's see here. Anyone talk to their neighbors about voting? Yes. I'm in my community often, right? Talking about, these issues. Granted, I might be in an echo chamber because I'm at a gun shop, but my neighbor's next door. Yeah, we all have a very hard time trusting our public education. We all have a very hard time trusting much of anything that's being fed to us on any media. That includes social media. So, yeah, getting out there and finding all that. Also, General Grant's bringing up another good point here. Photo ID is not required in every state. And this is where some people might be like, yeah, so yeah, ID required. Yeah, ID required. Right. My thoughts on it is you should have an ID. You should, I don't. All right, let's do it. Put it this way. One great thing about this country is we're a melting pot. We have so many diverse cultures, a variety of people. We're not all looking the same. We don't all act the same. We bring in different experiences, different cultures to this great nation. And quite frankly, we have a hard time figuring that out. We have a hard time living together. And I think that's because it's kind of manipulated that way. Divide and conquer. Don't blame me, the person that's elected to represent you, about why your life sucks. It's that guy right there taking advantage of the system and not paying taxes on the billions of dollars that he makes. Really? Okay. It's the same system you put in place? Right. Same system you're taking advantage of? All right, cool. My point is, we have a very diverse country. We are very open to legal immigration. I have plenty of people in my life that have migrated to this country illegally, that have done the work and became honorable U.S. citizens, and I applaud those individuals. With that being said, photo ID should be required. It should be required to say, hey, I belong here. I am a United States citizen, and these rules, I shouldn't even say rules, who am I? These rights granted to me by my creator are protected by this. Gib gun. Let me have gun. Here is money in exchange for product. Here is money in exchange for service of getting gun optics cut, whatever. We have the right to vote. It's so funny to me, quite frankly. That's like, can we get some level of consistency? If photo IDs for voting is racist, if it's so harmful to a certain group of people, man, in that case, photo IDs for firearms, man, shouldn't have those either. We should just be able to walk in, buy them like a bag of chips. I don't really disagree with that, but you guys get what I'm saying? Let's have at least a level of consistency, but they won't do that. They want to pick and choose. They just want to pick and choose. Oh, yeah, you need a photo ID for this, but not for that, even though they're both covered under this thing right here. Get out of here. All right. What are y'all's thoughts on that, huh? Photo ID doesn't mean you're legal to vote. In mass, an illegal can get a license to vote and vote. Right. And so it needs to be maybe redone. Well, first of all, that shouldn't be able to happen. If you're illegally in this country, how is that? What? You mean all the times the DMV has turned me away because I didn't bring the correct documentation? You know what I'm saying? Are you kidding me? It's racist to say photo ID is racist. Oh, I hate that word, racist. Everything's racist. Oh my God. It's exhausting. Oh man. A wall doesn't mean keep out. It means use the door. Thank you. That's a solid analogy right there. Only U.S. citizens should be able to get an ID. And that's kind of the point I was making. There you go. Photo IDs are state determined. I'm all about, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I'm all about, and this is another way we can go about protecting our Second Amendment, right? I'm all about state rights. But we're to a point where it's like, look, I'm here as a U.S. citizen. I am a U.S. citizen. Here's the proof. Cool. Now that I've shown you proof, let me vote in this election for my representative. Let me exercise my Second Amendment right. Ironically, buying a car almost sounds to me like you don't need a photo ID because it's actually not even a protected right. Owning a vehicle, you have a right to transportation, you have a right to walk, but not necessarily own a car. It's just funny. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, just things going through my head. But yeah, the term's illegal. Right. And there is a door. Oh my goodness. We were just talking about our school district. Yeah, Justin, it's awful in our area, which sucks because you and I are in the same area. And Adnock Shootis, here's a question. Should those with green cards be able to purchase firearms? They can currently, but they aren't American citizens. The Constitution does not apply to them. Thoughts, everyone? You know, that's one I haven't actually really thought a whole lot about. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not afraid to say, like, I don't have much of an opinion because I haven't put enough thought or research into it. But initially, where are my thoughts on as a green card in America? And they want to purchase a firearm. For that time in which the green card is effective, they can either sell back. This is when a buyback might actually make sense because the FFL that they bought it from can buy the firearm back and then they can put it up on consignment, right? But if while they are in the country and they have been granted a green card, they went through the steps to get the green card and they're here, it's kind of like the way my mind looks at it is like, here's a trial, here's a little free trial of what it's like to be an American. You get guns. Don't you like guns? I think I'm cool with the idea. You know, but at the same time, I don't know if I am. It's one of these things where it's like I can see on both sides how I'd feel about it. But you're not a American citizen. However, you are one of God's creations and you have certain unalienable rights. And that's how Americans, I think, should view that. But at the same time, that could be countered and that can be argued about illegals then being here and then exercising same rights that we have ultimately put on paper. And they're ultimately taking advantage of it. Well, you guys are doing a good job at inspiring thought tonight. So let's get to how you guys feel about that, all right? Let's see here. Let me get to a few. Okay, here we go. From Chevy. Rights are human rights according what is understood, but Supreme Court, they are only citizens' rights. I say let them have ID and decide if they are allowed to one based off of criteria as citizens. All human beings have the right to keep and bear arms. All gun laws are infringements. The difficulty for me is I've heard many stories about a gang member getting their green card and acting as a supplier to the illegals. Don't take away guns from illegals, just deport illegals. Truth hurts. I'm just getting on. I will have to rewatch from the beginning later. Yeah, we've gotten way down the rabbit hole on some things here, man. Thank you for joining, though. But at the end of it all, the main topic for tonight is defending your 2A rights. And a lot of good points have been made up tonight about, well, who do the 2A rights extend to, right? We all, as God's creations, ultimately have these certain unalienable rights, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And defense of those are, yes, absolutely encouraged with the Second Amendment. So, let's see here. Jacob Berry, green cards are pretty hard to get. I'd say give them guns. They're going about it the right way. General Grant, are they, Jacob? Let's see. Funk Bufferton, yes, they should, provided they have a green card and haven't committed any felonies. They deserve the right to protect themselves. Okay. I feel that. And I've read that one already. My bad. And so, pretty interesting stuff here. Did I get to all the super chats? Yes. Thank you guys for contributing to the Nods Fund and the super chat. Appreciate you guys. This is a good way of going about it. Vote for who supports your views and future of the country. Yeah. Scott says, I bought my dog a gun, but the cat stole it. I've got so many different phrases I want to use right now, but it's just not appropriate. That's too good. Well, man, if that means your cat stole it, I guess that just means you no longer have, your dog no longer has possession of it and it's just buried somewhere, I guess. Let's see. Larry H., if they get deported, can they cross the border again and get another 10K? Oof. Connie, Another reason for a photo ID to vote is so someone can only vote once and cannot vote as their dead uncle, their neighbor, or anyone else who they are not. Hmm. You know, every time I voted, at least in the districts that I voted in, they would have to take your name off of like a piece of. So I would come in, I would say I live at this address, and then they would have like a sticker. That sticker would go on the ballot. So once that sticker is peeled, I can't vote again, right? So I can't come back and say, oh, now, whatever. I'm that guy again. So I feel kind of safe there. Additionally, though, what's to prevent if no IDs come in and I just go to the phone book and I just say, well, now I'm so-and-so from this address. They take the sticker, put it on the ballot. Now I go vote again, right? I don't know. So there's scary things. That's all there is to it. Oh, man. Only us, U.S. citizens, should benefit from our laws. The issue is, I get that it's where you might be coming from. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's not just U.S. citizens. That, to me, says all men are created equal, not just U.S. citizens. So when I hear that, I think, yeah, okay. However, with that, I can't help but to think that there are those out there that would be willing to take advantage of that, right? Interesting. Let's see here. First of all, Mike, going back, that's a catastrophe. You can easily vote as a dead person in these no ID required states, right? Richard, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Richard Pendleton, do you prefer super chats here or at the place that rhymes with humble? New to the channel, thank you for your commitment to the 2A. Whichever one's easier, that's honestly it. Whichever one's easier for you guys. But I do see Mr. Saito on Rumble for the $25 super chat there. New to Rumble and the channel. Good luck. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And see too that, I can see all of the Rumble chats and everything here on StreamYard, but it doesn't pop up. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't show the super chats from different platforms. So YouTube probably would be the best, honestly. Now, granted, as long as I remember to pop back over to Rumble to look over there, we're good. All right. So there you go. Okay, back to it. Appreciate that again, Richard Pendleton. Definitely appreciate the support for the nods. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Michael Cody. Clearly, there are citizens who abuse their rights, likely more than any legal aliens ever have. Good point. I believe all criminals should get their rights back after their sentence is served. Okay, so we're changing gears a little bit. I also agree with that. The justice system is there to rehabilitate, right? That means they're good now, according to the government. Okay, so Dilligaf, I think you and I are in similar mindset here. If you've paid your debt to society because you've served your sentence, done whatever it is, you've served your community service, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you're free from imprisonment. You should have all of your rights granted back to you, no matter what the crime is. And that's that. If you have an issue with that, well, what typically a lot of people say is, well, you think murderers and rapists should get the right to own a gun back. No, I think they should still be in prison. Do you understand? If they have paid their debt to society, that our justice system has ultimately said, okay, they did it. They're free. They're free. They're free from imprisonment. They're free to have their rights given back to them. That's it. I kind of hate saying that too, given back to them. Like, know, that sounds icky to me. But the point of the matter is they broke the law. They committed a crime so heinous that they served prison time for. And yeah, our justice system, it ain't no justice system. It's a legal system. And I think we all know that. It needs to be overhauled, okay? Quite frankly. But with that, if you've paid your debt to society, you get all your rights back, not just a few, not to be cherry picked. You know, it kind of makes me think like, too, like, you know what shouldn't exist? I'll tell you what shouldn't exist. The what is it called? Oh my God. The sexual predators map or list, whatever it is, you know? And I'm not afraid to say it. I found out I have one close to me here locally, right? Like child rapist kind of close. And I've got 2 kids here. And I'm like, I don't care if the crime was committed 30, 40, 50 years ago or a year ago. Especially when it comes to kids. Like, dude, this is when the channel gets, or the this video gets demonetized. Die. Like this. So I have kids now, and I am literally like, I can feel it. I can feel I'm getting like hot. I'm getting like angry at thinking about if somebody ever did anything. Like, I am. Oh, stabby boy. All right. That's all I'm saying. And so with that, my point that I'm making here is about the Second Amendment, about all of your rights. The moment you're free from imprisonment, you should have all your rights. If you are considered rehabilitated. If you're not considered rehabilitated, then you shouldn't be back. And some crimes, look, you know, Jesus, God may forgive you, and that's fine and all, but you still have to face the wrath of man. And that might sound a little blasphemous, and I'm not intending it to. But put it this way. I kind of like that one quote out of Fury, Shia LaBeouf's character, you know, when he's asked, like, do you think God loves Hitler? Yes, I do. That's not going to stop anything from what man's going to do to him, you know? So, all right, let me decompress. Okay. Artemis, thank you to everyone for supporting. Great things to come, including merch. For those of you that don't know, yes, Artemis is my fiance. That little character right there, that's not actually her, by the way. But she's equally just as hot. So with that, if you guys are looking for merch, you're looking for hats and things like that, just stay tuned and yell at her. She's the one that's in charge of all that, okay? I'm just kidding, honey. I love you. Oh man, she's gonna yell at me later. Just kidding. But no, stay tuned. We are getting all that together. I know you guys like the topography logo hat and all that, so stay tuned. I like that quite a bit. Yeah, diaper sniffers are not people's. As a parent, I pick my kid up and sniff diapers on occasion, so I might not agree with that statement, but I'm doing that not because of an attraction. I'm doing that because I need to know which one did it. You know what I'm saying? All right, so Clint's going to come on with a black eye, becoming dangerous. Possibly. This is how Clint ended up in the doghouse tonight. Yeah, either way. Oh my goodness. Chevy Jim, the legal system should not have the power to remove any rights. We do not have rights on other people's private property, which also applies to jail/prison. Interesting. Interesting take. You know, part of me thinks like if you do some things, maybe you, I don't know. You know, I understand that to a point, but at what point is it too far? You know, dueling. Let's bring back dueling. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? All right. Uh, let's see here. Tom, is my merch going to be for sale at Monadnock Firearms? I never thought of that, actually. I just kind of thought I'll let Monadnock do Monadnock, let me do me, and if we, if I do another meet and greet there, I'll bring some with me. But I could talk with Rob over there and figure it out, right? So that'd be kind of cool. So here, let's. Know the legal system should definitely be able to take rights away from certain people. Interesting. Artemis means god of hunting, I think. Watch out. Yeah. I have no comeback. Let's see here. Coming back to a couple of few here. Tar and feather also, right? That is true. Incredibly based. Okay, just a sim. If you're to have at least one transferable machine gun, what would it be? Again, when it comes to our Second Amendment rights, one of the things I want to restore is our right to actually have weapons of war, right? I'm tired of sugarcoating it, and I said this at Goals too. The Second Amendment totally applies to your weapons of war. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. It's not about sporting. It's not about competition, and it damn sure ain't about hunting, unless we're talking about, hunting tyrants. No, the Second Amendment applies very much so to weapons of war. So with that, if I could have any of these weapons of war, transferable machine gun, I'm assuming belt fed, it'd probably be a Mark 19, just because, honestly, if I could have one, like a part of me wants it to be practical, like a full auto MP5, super practical, awesome, hell of a lot of fun. I've shot plenty of them and they're great. Another part of me thinks battle rifle, full auto FAL, one of my absolute favorites. And then I think if I'm going to have one belt fed, if like really like, let's do this. A Ma Deuce, baby, 50 cal, So I guess I have ones in different classes, but a part of me really leans towards if I could have one, like if I could just have one, it would be the Ma Deuce, I think. Everything else I can kind of like just, make do, like good in-betweens and everything. But the Ma Deuce, it's so versatile. I could use that for anti-air if I need to, or, light armored vehicles, a squadron of zombies, So, yeah, 249 would be awesome also, just saying. Full auto MP5 SD, which is a lot of fun. Absolutely a lot of fun. 40 millimeters, it is practical, It depends on what you might need it for, like clearing out, a couple of trees, I would have the M4 and the M249, 240 Bravo. Yep. So, dirty diapers to the face are weapons. Very true. Oh, man. The pig would probably be more practical, but the M60, as much as I love that gun, I haven't. No, yes, I did. First date with my now fiance, shot a full auto, shot a belt fed M60. All right, that was our first date, guys. That's how you know it's meant to be. If she takes you to because you walk into a gun shop and you see an M60 on the wall. It's like, is that a real M60? And the guy says yes. It's like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I said, yep. It's like, yeah, you can shoot it if you want. I'm like, I'm sorry, what now? And she paid to let me shoot the one belt fed that I have always wanted to shoot but never have. That was our first date. And that is how you get Magged Up Morgan to propose to you. I'm not giving any like hints for you guys out there, some of you weirdos, but I'm just saying. If she's still watching, I know she's got to love that story because it's a pretty good time. AA12 would be awesome. Yeah, Matt Demaranch has an M2. Let's see here. Whiskey and Windage. Good to see you guys. Like my shirt? Like that. Like that. Thought you would. Weapon's just a weapon. A peace weapon is no different than a war weapon other than an adjective in front of it. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. Halcyon Draconis. Mine would be an MP7 or little something to turn my truck into a technical. God, I love that. Tony Too Sweet. Have you seen the CZP09C Nocturne? I have not. They have a deal on a PO7 at my local shop. It's basically the same, but $200 cheaper. Am I missing anything? I don't know. I do not know. So I'm not the right guy to ask on that one. I'm sorry. A10 mouth cannon. Little 30 mil for your life, for your mouth. Of course, the guy that dual wields Barretts and would roll the Ma Deuce. Yes, I have dual wield Barretts before, and it threw me a little off balance, but it was a good time. Okay. And yes, it was definitely an awesome first date. Rednet Dragon is also saying he'd have to have an MP5 SD. It is pretty sweet. Truth Hurts. Oh yeah, she's a keeper. She is. General Grant, again, a sword is a weapon of war. A musket is a weapon of war. So is a longbow, crossbow, dagger, and like a bayonet. Most definitely. Like that one right there. By the way, I don't know if you guys knew this or not. For the longest time, I was under the impression that an M9 bayonet, like that one right there in my LMT, would not fit over the Surefire War Comp. I can't grab it and show you, but I can back up so it comes in a little bit better focus. You can throw the Ontario Knife Company Marine Corps bayonet over a Surefire War Comp. I do not know why I thought it would not work. Stabby boy stabs. Okay. Let's see here. So we got somebody seconding the A10, and I'm here to tell you guys, this stuff should be so much easier to get than it is. You know, just like what Whiskey and Windage was saying, a weapon's a weapon. Assault weapons don't exist. Weapons of war don't really exist. I mean, anything could be considered a weapon of war. I mean, look at what the British and the Zulu did to each other. And the Zulu came at them with spears and killed a lot of British guys with their rifles. I mean, the spear is a weapon of war, right? Molotov cocktails, weapon of war. You know, I mean, drones have now definitely become a weapon of war. And I'm talking about like DJI. I'm not talking about like your Predator drone up there with, missiles and shit. I'm talking about DJI, Mavics, and everything else. Weapons of war. So it's another scary term. It's just another one of those things that's just it's crap. Anyway. All right, I'm going to start winding it down here in just a few. 2 kids later, no belt fed yet. Those kids be hungry, all right? And baby food. Look, what's cutting into my nods fund and my belt fed fund is baby food, all right? So once I get that figured out, I need Barrett or Browning, LMT to sponsor me. That'd be kind of cool, that'd be great. Let's see here. Tanner, good to see you again. Thoughts on sending any of my Shadow 2s to Gage and Gunworks to customize and upgrade parts? Shadow 2s are already pretty sweet as it is. What work would you be looking to get done? I am curious. Good. Again, I just want to reiterate how awesome it was running into you and Alexis. That was awesome. And Kels, if you're still watching, I don't know if you were watching earlier, but Alexis says hi. That's Tanner's wife, to you and the babies. And they look to see us next time. All right. No, at least none that we know of. My wife, future wife, she was adopted. Only child adopted. We don't know if she actually has any biological siblings, I guess. I don't know. So there's that. So maybe there might be one running around out there. You just got to find her. All right. Oh man. Let's see here. Let's see. Brandy's saying, check out the Kiss nightclub disaster. I'll have to do that. The Gurkha is a weapon of war. Yes. It's Major Pain. You guys remember that big canted knife? Apparently it's great for beheadings. Let's see. Hands, feet, anything, Broken Cord is saying, can be used as a weapon. Words. How about that? And you think about, when you say weapons of war, words, Samuel Adams. How conniving, slick he was. He wasn't, like from somebody that told me, and now the research I'm starting to do on him, he was one of these that also kind of inspired a little bit of thought, and somebody would see something happening. And then he would just be kind of the guy, a voice in the crowd that just said, that's interesting. I wonder if we didn't have a king, if that would still be an issue. I wonder if we weren't levied that tax, if this would still be an issue. I wonder if there's a group of guys that'd be willing to actually take up arms against such tyranny. And he would just, his voice would just kind of resonate all throughout. And man, I love it. Let's see here. Oh, Michael, you can thank Brandon for the high food costs. Yeah. Brian Lucas, Artemis is the goddess of nature, hunting, etc., except in the biblical Asia. She was depicted as a multi-beasted goddess of love and fertility. We do have twins. Oh, man. Stephen M., even though it's still unconstitutional, they should at least open the registry for a certain amount of time for new machine guns every few years. Yeah, I mean, that's just another compromise at the end of the day, right? Like, I get exactly what you're saying. I totally get it. Like, hey, give us something, like, come on. I totally get it, but it shouldn't exist, right? The Hughes Amendment, the National Firearms Act, the Gun Control Act, Reagan. Ronald Reagan, such potential. He could have been truly the conservative icon. But taxes were raised. Gun laws were bad. Gun laws were instituted under his presidency. But hey, he was good with words, and he could make people laugh. And I think he was truly proud to be an American, obviously. I think he was. But 1986 and the Gun Control Act. Heinous. Such a disappointment. Oh, man. Let's continue on over here. Headshots for you. Boom, headshot. Does it scare you that BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street own most optic companies, such as EOTechs, primers, and ammunition companies? Does it scare me? A part of most of me kind of no. Like, obviously, these companies are in it for the money. And if they see contracts, especially military contracts, it would just make sense from a financial point of view to invest, if not own, some of these companies. Hey, you just keep doing what you do. You do it really, really well. I just want to be the guy that owns you. Sounds a little manipulative, potentially, and scary, but I would have an issue with it if it was like they bought out EOTech and they made EOTech stop selling to the private industry, to the citizens, right? Like, whoa, that's not cool. Obviously, it'd be more than just not cool. I guess I don't have that much of an issue with it because it's still mostly readily available. What I have an issue with are manufacturers like HK who are government contract whores. I love HK. Love their products. But what they bring to the private industry, the citizens, the people, is here. Just have this. We know you love us, so just have this. They did that M27 clone, that limited run. It's stupid expensive, but it's not even a real M27. They didn't even give you a bayonet lug. How about a real MR556 or a 416? Where are the ambidextrous controls? Like I said, their government contracts are always going to come first for them. And one thing I can say is I'm starting to see that shift, have seen that shift with Daniel Defense. They realize how important the people are. Maybe not years ago, but what they're starting to do now, they're having this complete shift internally. They want to get out and say, yeah, nah, we're on that no compromise train, which is pretty cool because I mean, I've interviewed Daniel SHOT Show 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it was. All right, when are you guys gonna bring back pistol braces? And they have, which is cool. But at that point in time, it was told to me that, well, there's just too much writing on the books about whether or not they're going to be legal, so it's just safer for us not to do that. What? Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, IWI is making the Zion 15 pistol with an SBA 3. Sons of Liberty Gunworks, pistols. ADM, pistols. LWRCI, pistols. You know, like, it just, that's your take, really? But thankfully, they've kind of like bounced back from that a little bit. So I actually get more upset with manufacturers that are catering to government contracts and not putting a priority, actually. Because if we take a look at the principles, putting a priority on the people. Granted, I can totally understand wanting to make sure that the guys keeping evil at bay in distant lands are doing that with the best tools necessary, or the best tools available. Totally get that. Absolutely. But hey, guys, evil is persistent and exists everywhere, not just overseas, not just in the bad parts of town. It exists everywhere. And I want the best tools available to me to use against said evil at any given moment. That's that. May not even buy it because I can't afford it, but I still want it available to me, So there you have it. Okay, another rant done. What do you guys think about that take? Let me know. All right. Let's see here. Hook, good to see you. Wow, I made it to a live. LOL, good to be here in time. Yeah, but I did say I was kind of winding it down a little bit, so I'm only going to go for about 10 minutes more, okay? So there you go. Becoming dangerous. DD put too much in the D9, the H9 pistol. When I was down there, I was told they don't produce lowers because they can't control the quality of the build people make. Now they sell lowers. When were you down there? Because it must have been 2019, 20? When I was told that they are building everything in-house. Like, everything. So, that's interesting. PSA is all about spreading freedom. Now, there's a... All right, look, just to play this card. There's a point to be made about knowing you're the best. Let's say I'm HK. I see where all the money is. Government contracts. I'm PSA. I'm not known to be the best. I see where my money is. The citizenry. The people. You get what I'm saying? With that, I am definitely a fan of what PSA is doing. I am definitely loving the Saber clone series and things like that. And if they hold up, if they survive torture testing, if they survive tens of thousands of rounds, incredible, especially at that price point. Incredible. So yeah. PSA, I will say this, is all about spreading that freedom. I almost have more of a respect for companies like PSA and Anderson even, because what they are doing for the public is making sure that at an affordable price, they are actually able to exercise their Second Amendment right. No, it's not going to be an HK. No, it's probably not going to have the latest and greatest and all that type of stuff. But you know what you will have? You will have an AR. You will have a rifle that is looked at today as being one of the most practical, accurate, affordable guns on the market. And you'll have it. Why? Because companies like these two that I just mentioned are bringing them to you available, and affordable. You might not be shooting 500 yards sub half MOA, but you will be shooting. You get what I'm saying? And hell, maybe you are. So there's that. Oh, well. What are you going to do? Now, with that, there's another take, too, about PSA and what that's doing to more of your small businesses and whatnot. But there is a way to work in harmony and unison, because you can always have your PSA shipped to your local FFL. Right? So, again, I want to hear what you guys think. And it would also be great to hear from some people in the industry about that also. Arrow is getting out of hand with their prices, bruh. Who do they think they are? Joey Medina, thank you. I don't know. Their prices are getting a little bit up there, though, I have noticed. I think because of all the different projects they're kind of working on. You know, they're getting into their silencers now, the bolt gun, stuff like that. And it's like, well, something's got to fund those projects because they're not funding themselves just yet, you know? And also the new facility that they've moved into, all sorts of stuff. Again, I'm not like making excuses for them, because it's like, dude, Aero Precision were the builder sets that you could get, and it would be affordable, and it would kind of be that step above anything else. You know, it's like, all right, cool, I can get this and I can run with it. It looks good. It functions well. Bam, I go shoot now. And yeah. Hot take from Hook: a BCM Aero build is greater than DD. Ooh. I mean, there's an argument to be made. There is an argument to be made. But at the same time, I don't care what build it is. I still would most likely trust a manufacturer build over a zombie build, you know? That's just me personally. And that might just be me not trusting my own quality at the end of the day. Some people can build a gun just as good as a manufacturer, just as good. You know, we hear that often. But, you know, it's something to think about. Either way, what I'm really happy about this discussion is we have these options available to us because we live in this country, and because we have the Second Amendment, and because we have this firearms industry that, you know, granted, there's quite a few that are looking just to make money, but there's also quite a few, too, that are truly passionate about the Second Amendment, about civil liberties, about our individual rights and freedoms, and that truly just want to make sure we have an armed society, because as many times as you have heard it, it's true. An armed society is a polite society. And it's not just polite to one another, it's government being polite to one of us. Because what did Jefferson say? A government that fears its people is liberty. But when the people fear the government, you have tyranny. So with that, I say unto you, good night. I'm going to get to the last couple of questions here. I'm actually just getting really tired. I think I'm still kind of burnt out from goals this past weekend. I came home and it was definitely, it wasn't me crashing and hitting the bed. It was me hitting the bed, bouncing back up to change a diaper because my lovely fiance needed a break. She was here by herself with the twins. All right. So there you go. Oh man. Clint, would you talk about cans? Which ones can you run with different calibers? Okay, cool. Talking about cans. Don't make the joke. Don't make the joke. Don't make the joke. Talking about silencers. Yeah, we can talk about that. So which ones I run with different calibers? Oh boy. Okay, this is going to be a whole video covering suppressors and how different suppressors with different caliber. All right, put it this way. A dedicated 5.56 can will perform better with 5.56 than a 30 cal can shooting 5.56 through it, okay? Any day of the week, that's just how it's going to be. I don't care who you are. And the technology might be shrinking that gap a little bit, but I have yet to see it or hear it personally, okay? And maybe somebody's going to correct me and say, oh, you need to look at this. It's a 30 cal can that shoots just as quiet as any 5.56 can when running 5.56. If that's the case, awesome. What are the trade-offs? I want to know, right? So with that, Uncle Rodney can build you a honey badger for cheaper. I see from Crunchy Taco. That's funny. But yeah, so with that, um, I have no idea where that bruise came from. What the hell? So right now the cans that I'm running, I've got a few different 30 cal cans. I've got my first silencer I ever bought, the Yankee Hill titanium 30 cal. It does good. I like it. Nothing to write home about. It just lightweight, does good. Other can I have is the 762 Flow from Huxworks. Does good. I like it. Lightweight, flow through design, reduced back pressure. Cool. Other 30 cal, I have the Banish 30 cal that I currently have on a 308 Super SAS Saber from PSA, and it's really nice. That's what I have the Banish 30 on. I also have a couple of the Disavowed Group 30 cal cans, one of which I have not run. I haven't run the 30 cal cans yet, but I have run the 5.56 on my Henry Long Ranger, and that's fun as hell. So there's that. With that, I think this is going to be a whole dedicated topic because this is a lot to get into when it comes to silencers and which runs to run with different calibers. So stay with me, JC. That'll be something that I get into soon. All right. Keith is wanting to know, will we get an invite to the wedding or just the bachelor party? That's pretty funny. What if I brought you guys on? No, she'd kill me. We could live stream the wedding, but that sounds very, very egotistical, very self-absorbed. Don't like that idea. But I also like the idea of maybe taking like 30 minutes out of the bachelor party and live streaming it. But then it's, open to the public. So there's that too. Okay, let's get into this here. Michael Cody, I'm just getting into AR-15s. Went with the Shark Coast tactical build from Classic. Nice. Shark Coast are some awesome dudes. I've enjoyed it. I don't know enough yet about who is worth the money yet. Who's worth the money? You are. What I mean by that is, obviously, you want to know who's worth the money that you've earned. So you want to take the time, do the research, check out all the reviews, and see where you want to spend your hard-earned dollars, correct? So with that, Tanner, your 6,000 AR build, yeah, I remember that. With that, that's another one that I could really get into. I've covered a lot of these topics when I was with Classic. I think it'd be kind of fun to reintroduce them, but I also don't want to see them like I'm not able to come up with my own content. I can. Doing it for a while. So are you guys concerned about that? If I touch on things that I've talked about at Classic, but now they're going to be kind of similar, because what you got from me at Classic was what you got from me, but I'm now, let's be very transparent here. I'm now able to experience different things. Before, because I was associated with Classic Firearms, I couldn't handle a thing like a Palmetto State Armory or Brownells build, right? So now that I can, and I have these experiences with these different types of firearms, different people, different manufacturers and companies and everything, my opinion on some things may very well have changed, but yeah, I think there would be fun topics to revisit because, well, the topic may have aged. All right. I have gained different knowledge and stuff like that. So there you go. Becoming Dangerous. Roscoe is good stuff. Redneck Dragon, they make the barrels for Colt. Yeah, Roscoe barrels are solid. Olive Hollow, I love the Riz too. I have the M4A1 14.5. Also, it's a heavy duty, but is also lightweight. Have zero complaints. Yeah, that's a solid gun. HK from Justice M44. HK has great, notable favorite guns, but not friendly to give the civilians the exact same guns as semi-auto clones. And I watched the latest video on the HK USC by Gun Jesus. Nice. Let's see here. Wedding Crasher. That's funny. What do I think about the SIG 516? I think I don't have like any experience with the SIG 516, so I don't want to lead you astray on that. Michael, I don't like the grips or the mag release on the HKs other than the tactical VP9s. Talking about the pistols. Got it. It could just be things to get used to as well, because for the longest time, I didn't think I liked the European mag release also, and then I started running it, and I was like, that's ergonomic. So, Scott at Jessica looked like hot garbage, eh? What did... I just got... Oh, got it. Okay. Let's see here. Hook, amen, brother. Gets what's in your budget. Any AR is better than no AR. True, unless it blows up on you, then that's not good. So don't put 300 blackout in your 5.56. Just because it chambers doesn't mean it'll send. Let's see here. Jessica, you already posted that. You double post a lot. He wants to make sure that I see his stuff, you know. Goals burn me out too. Too much to do. Becoming dangerous. I know. There's a lot to do. And the show floor is only going to get bigger. And we're probably going to, I don't think we're going to cut back on the panels. We're just going to time them a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. JC, good night, Clint. Thanks for your time. Once again, God bless you and your family. Thank you, JC. God bless you as well. Appreciate that. Dedicated for sure when it comes to silencers. Absolutely. Yes to the video idea. And we've got Scott saying he likes big cans and he cannot lie. I'm trying. Guys, I'm tired. I'm trying to think of something like quick to say here, but he's not wrong. I like, if we're talking about softer cans, we're not talking about that. We're talking about silencers that go on your gun, and I prefer actually a little bit smaller in length in that regard. God damn it. Jacob, still looking forward to that cans for DI guns. It's all about the cans. Isn't that right? Which, by the way, again, coming back into the defense of our Second Amendment, repealing the National Firearms Act, removing silencers from any type of regulation should be something done yesterday. Should have been something never done to begin with. They're ultimately a safety device. And if you disagree with that, you're wrong. Let's see here. Keith is saying wedding question before I go. JC saying Cowboy Clint, what's up? Sean is saying Olive, I want a heavier rail. Why I like the DDM4A1 Riz 2, because when the thinner with the thinner rails start to heat quickly. Okay. Why I like the DDM4A1 Block 2 with the SOCOM barrel. I need me a BCG so bad to finish. Do I have it behind me? Yes, but it's not in frame, so I can't show you guys. I totally get about the thinner rails heating up. I've got the Lunar Concepts Hot Pocket, which is a great little heat wrap, and it also has the M-lock cut on it, so I've got a vertical grip that goes through the Hot Pocket, which then mounts to the rail, and it keeps your hands nice and not toasted. All right, so there's that too that you can take a look at also. Okay, all right. I think I've hit my end for the night. CMMG is also awesome. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Baby got back pressure. Y'all killing me. Okay. All right. I'm done. And account I don't. All right. Now I'm done. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go back to my Instagram and see my some fan friends. Okay. On that note, I'm done. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I greatly appreciate all the super chats that came in. I appreciate all of you guys being in here on this Wednesday night, on this Whiskey Wednesday. Cheers to all of you guys. God bless you guys. And we will see you next time. Be on a lookout. I should have my next video dropping on Friday. All right. God bless you guys. And I will see you all very, very soon. Take care. And again, cheers.